So my friend Simon is visiting from the UK, and I've said in a previous video that he is one of my spirit guides. So his higher self actually sends him compulsions to help me on my path. Lucky me! So he's visiting from out of town, and we decided to get together and do a Q&A with yours truly. So he has a list of questions he's going to ask me, and I'm going to answer them for your viewing pleasure. Simon, thank you for being here. You rock for sweating out that, what, 12-hour flight?
10.5-hour flight, yeah.
10.5-hour flight from London.
Well, thank you for making time. I fear you make me sound more organised than we're going to be, but we'll see how we do. So
Free-flowing thought. Ask me whatever.
I'm always, it's interesting hanging around in your world, because it's a very different world. And I thought it would be interesting for people to have a bit of insight into that. And I guess one thing, if you could change something, what would it be? If you could go back and change something.
If I could go back and do something differently, it would probably be my identity crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Going from a marketing executive to a medium affects your identity and how you view yourself and how the world views you.
Mm-hmm.
So not only were my friends and family forced to adjust, but I was forced to adjust. And you sacrifice love because you're afraid of losing everybody's love, respect, reputation as a sane individual. So not only does the world reject you, you reject yourself. And that shame that I cast at myself and the self-hatred, that's what I would have done differently. I would have, if I knew then what I know now, I would have gone back and tried to, I don't know, fall in love with myself faster, accept my gift faster, as opposed to just falling into a deep state of depression. Now, I feel like that's a process that everyone needs to go through, no matter what your truth is. I'm a medium. I'm gay. I'm whatever. Whatever your truth is. You have to go through this process of falling in love with yourself.
So what would you advise your somewhat younger self? If she was here now, what would you say to her?
Everything's going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other. The divine's going to take care of you. It sucks now, but it's temporary. Oh, and by the way, this lasts years.
Okay.
By the way, this is a process that goes on for years. So buckle your seatbelt and just take it one day at a time.
When did that process start for you?
2008.
Mm-hmm.
October of 2008. Okay. That's when my friend's boyfriend killed himself in the middle of a fight with her.
Okay.
And that's when I was awoken to my gift, is because I ended up channeling him. Because everyone else was really upset that he pinned his suicide on her.
Yeah.
Except I was the one that jumped off the couch and just freaked out and started doing paranormal research. And that's how I found out it was my life purpose, is the other side was like,
welcome.
Welcome to the party. We're not letting go of your ankle.
Okay. And that's, it's not without stress to feel different.
Yeah, that's the hardest part. That's why I was watching The Greatest Showman with Hugh Jackman,
mm-hmm.
that movie trailer.
Okay. And
he takes in all the people that are different and tells them that they're beautiful, and then they become part of the show. And I was like, Hugh Jackman. I love Hugh Jackman. Because he makes people feel special for being different.
So lots of people, I'd imagine that a fair number of your viewers would feel themselves to be on somewhat of a similar journey. And it is tough. I know from my own experience it's tough too. What are the positives?
Well, okay. Well, let me just say one thing before I answer that. When I go back and watch a video that I made called Some Heartfelt Advice for Intuitives, it literally makes me want to toss my cookies now. I can't take the YouTube video down. It's done, it's out there, I can't take it out. But I sound really whiny, and to me, I just sound like victim, 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 victim. Poor me, poor you. What are your friends and family supposed to think? They can't relate to you in any way. Wait. Just poor you, poor you, poor you. Don't worry, we can get through this together. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
My attitude's totally different now.
Okay.
My attitude is grab onto your personal power with both hands, because you are lucky to know this. You are lucky to know. If you're sitting in a room full of people at like a spiritual center, taking like a meditation course or an intuitive development course, and you're just sitting in a room full of people who are like spirit guides this and spirit guides that, and it's just a known thing, you are lucky. Because then when you walk out of that classroom, it's like, okay, I gotta hide this to the rest of the world because they're gonna think I'm nuts. I think, to me, that's a positive, is although you live in a world that is going to think you're crazy, you're right. You are right. This is the way universal energies are. Law of attraction exists. Spirit guides exist. You are being introduced to universal truth and the truth. So I don't see it as the other side doesn't view themselves as butterflies, unicorns, and rainbows. They view themselves as like this judge's gavel coming down. This is universal truth. You are lucky to know this. That's why you are considered enlightened and awakened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did read something somewhere. It's like, it's really easy to be enlightened if you lock yourself away, but it's the interactions with the rest of the world that is the cause of stress, because everyone's on a different stage, and some people are not ready to accept this stuff or talk about this stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's why a lot of people come out of jail completely different spiritual people, because they were left alone. Mm-hmm. They had no choice but to meditate and turn inward, journal. That's how you discover your gift.
So, we're lucky to know this stuff. What are but I think, that there is a day-to-day experience of being Christine, which I think is certainly fascinating to the extent that I've seen it, and I think people will be interested in it. So, how does your connection to the other side change your day-to-day experience?
Well, weren't you saying that hanging out with me is like hanging out with 20 people?
Oh yeah, having a conversation with you is much easier if you realize that there are 20 other people in the room. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Never boring. Sometimes they help me with the mundane. Don't bother going to the library, it's closed. Oh, thanks. And then sometimes I just get radio silence. So to me, it almost feels like what they feel like sharing.
Okay.
Sometimes I get help with the day-to-day stuff, and sometimes I don't. I show up and it's closed, and I'm like, where's your time? The major things. Who's your soulmate? They told me you're my spirit guide, right? Mm-hmm. What's your life purpose? What kind of car to drive, where to live, the major decisions. Like, I just know. And the creepiest part is that if I don't do what they need me to do, just darkness. Like, I'm a pretty powerful magnet. So, illness, car accident, whatever. Like, I attract so much crap to myself. So that's kind of a slap across my face that I'm not doing things correctly. Day-to-day, like health, that's what I was complaining to you about the other day. They don't like giving diagnoses. They don't want you walking around thinking there's something wrong with you, so they don't tell you anything. So if you have like a headache or whatever, they're not going to tell you what's causing it. It'll just be like, drink more water, high protein diet, do Reiki on it. Okay, there you go.
So you get mundane stuff sometimes, and I think sometimes they mess with your head because they are a little bit trickstery sometimes. And certainly, when you're off path, you get spanked. Yeah. What's their nature? Is it like going to see the headmaster at school? Is it warm and loving? What's the demeanor of the relationship?
It's warm and loving, but for me, I can tell that they're really hard on me because they have to be. It's kind of like, they call me the divine obedient, and if I don't do what they need me to do, it's a huge problem, not only for me as a person, but for the world. I mean, I know that makes me sound really, really like self-important, but my life purpose is meant to help the masses. Mm-hmm. They can't have me not listen to them. So when I don't listen to them and I fall or I get smacked, that absolutely has to happen. I have to get smacked so that I don't do that again down the road.
So I think that's an interesting segue. I think I called you politically vacuous, which you let me get away with. But you are not the person that I would think would get involved in politics or have anything to say about it. What is a nice psychic medium doing, getting involved in the political stuff? How did that happen?
I got roped into it, and this was actually the side of the divine plan that Mark Foster was responsible for, because he's all into this stuff.
Okay.
I got pulled in and kind of educated via, the news and experience, and you've educated me on a lot on what's going on. I didn't really know. I didn't even know the media was controlled. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Just didn't know any of this stuff that a lot of people did. Like I've recently become aware of this when everyone's like, no, been going on for years, Christine. So yeah, this was something that I was kind of like forced to step up to the plate with, and kind of a crash course out of necessity.
Mm-hmm. But why? It's very easy to say politics isn't important. Go sit on your spiritual mountain, meditate, and it'll go away. It's the political stuff is fairly on the face of it, earthbound. Why bother? Why is it even on your agenda?
It's been on my agenda for a while. A lot of my videos are repetitive.
But why? Why not just speak about butterflies and unicorns?
Well, those are actually my favorite videos to make.
Okay.
Are you disorganized? Where's my soulmate? Those are my favorite ones to make. The political ones are just very repetitive and, like not really my specialty, not really where my comfort level is, because I am politically vacuous. Sorry, what was the question again? It was
why?
Why are you making these videos?
Well, I think a lot of people would view politics and spirituality as being completely separate.
Yeah.
And to some extent, if you get the spiritual thing, you don't need to worry about the political thing because it'll all work out okay. You seem to be fairly driven to commentate, narrate on the process that's going on in front of our eyes. And then I think over the time we've been discussing it, it's gone from the, there might be something to, wow, this is getting really interesting. But why do you feel the need to mention it at all?
Well, the system that's been shown to me, it's controlled by, corporate money, wealthy donors, whatever, on both the Republican and the Democratic side, have been there for years.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is now everything's come to a head where the abuse of power and the corruption and the hidden agendas have grown and grown and grown to now it's caused a problem where we end up attracting nuclear war to ourselves as a country.
Okay.
And so the divine is forced to intervene in that system. Although it's been corrupt for a long time, now its corruption has led to mass destruction. And so that's why the divine had to get involved, and that's why everyone's learning in the process. So that's one of the things that we're witnessing right now is the divine is literally giving everyone enough rope to hang themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So that the American people see all this corruption so that it's in everybody's face and it's obvious, and then the divine turns up the volume on the law of attraction, and then all of these people, because souls are magnets, all of these people end up attracting darkness to themselves, and then it ends up causing their demise because the dark is not your friend. And then the power is transferred to the people, the people who are magnets for good things. So the power is taken away from the corruption and given to the victims.
Yeah.
Because karma, we're karmically owed.
Yeah.
And then we're placed in a position above them. But see, the divine is doing all this to teach us and to show us things so that we learn and so that we try not to repeat this in the future. He's really big on if you abuse your power while you have it, you lose it.
Okay.
Another thing is those blessings and that power has come onto your path, compliments of the light. So the light, like if they empower you to do something and you use that power for good, that's fantastic. They're taking notes.
Okay. So we're in a process where it's been dysfunctional for a long time, and you can argue that, a lot of people feel disempowered with their votes anyway.
Right.
And, which is why a lot of people don't vote. It's like, why should I bother? The whole system's rigged anyway. And I think shining a light on that is very interesting.
I didn't know. You knew. I didn't know. So,
you said that the political stuff wasn't exactly your favorite videos. What are your favorite videos to make?
I like the animal rights videos. The do you have good pet karma? Are you helping animals? I don't think people realize like how important animal rescue is. That's a real sore subject with the other side. I like the videos about music because I didn't realize how much they hold musicians in high esteem. That's considered a really, really big deal with regards to power manifestation. and then getting audiences to manifest with you by singing along to your songs. I didn't realize the power of music. So those are topics that they don't just want me to like throw out there. They want me to kind of pound that into everybody's head.
So why, if music's, this is just a random question, but if music is so spiritual and powerful, why is it the music industry has a sort of attitude of rock and roll bad boys and things like that? How does that?
That is really unfortunate. And one of the things that I noticed the other side strategy is that they will encourage certain individuals whose life purpose it is to be a musician. You know, they have pure intentions, they're coming from a place of heart and not ego. Where, you know, if somebody's like, oh, I want to be rich and famous, it's like, yeah, that's not your life purpose. Which means you do not have forces of nature on your side, and having people and opportunities, wealth, fame, whatever, come onto your path. You do have forces of nature on your side if your intentions are pure. So they can see your soul, so they know that your intentions are pure. So they'll encourage you to pursue music so that they can put you in front of audiences so that you can channel your lyrics.
Okay.
So the light will speak through you to those audiences. So them putting you in a position of power will be strategic. So when I look at, you know, people being in front of an audience saying, F this, F that, grab your ankles, whatever, it's like, I won't get too graphic. I'm like, oh, abuse of power. Abuse of power. Somebody else could be on stage singing something a little more meaningful and inspirational. There's so many like Instagram posts I'll see, you know, for musicians. You saved my life. Your lyrics saved my life. I was going through a hard time. I listened to your song. It raised my vibration. I was gonna hurt myself. I changed my mind. Like, you see the power of music in people's comments. And so their power needs to be harnessed and taken seriously.
So I think that's an interesting point that many are called, should we say, into various positions, be it music, politicians, etc. But not everybody makes it.
Right.
So what's that process there where some people make it, some people don't? What's the...
Number one, don't give up, because you could just be a victim of someone's free will. I've had a situation where I was doing a reading with someone where they were a victim of someone's free will, and the light wasn't giving up. The light was saying there's more than one way to get things done. The door closed in your face. We're going to work around this. We're going to bring somebody else onto your path to help you. So it's like they don't just walk away from their intention. They're going to keep going, and they want you to keep going. The question is, did this completely ruin your morale, and did you just give up and decide to switch directions and go somewhere else?
So that brings up another interesting thing. You know, obviously we speak fairly frequently, and one of the things I'm impressed with compared to a lot of other intuitives I know is just the sheer volume of readings that you do. And I find it very interesting. You know, obviously you never ever talk about detail, but you know, you talk to a lot of people over things. Are there any general themes that come out across all of these readings?
Yeah, and I actually got in big trouble for this because I felt like those themes were weaving through like too many readings. And they would send me information during a reading and I would blow it off because I would say, no, you said the same thing in my last reading, I don't want to repeat it. And I ended up getting in trouble. This woman had just lost her daughter, and they kept bringing up the music thing, and I didn't want to bring up the music thing. And they said, and they got mad at me, and they said, make no mistake about what we are trying to do here. They said, she is completely depressed. Her heart is obliterated. She is an energetic match for the dark, and we're trying to pull her out of it any way we can. You are interfering with that. And I was like, so brought it up, resonated, made sense. She is using music as a tool to raise her vibration at a point in her life that's pretty much the lowest that you can possibly get as a human being, losing a child. So she thanked me for that, but I was blocking the information. I got in big trouble for that. So music is a thread that weaves through. to help people in a time of need, just to raise their vibration. Now, another thing is what if they're not just trying to raise your vibration, right? To pull you away from the dark. What if they're trying to help you develop your intuition?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Music helps you connect with your angels. It helps you hear your spirit guides. It's very useful. Very useful. So the problem is me as an intuitive, what if these two people got together and said, that's weird, she told me the same thing. She's a fraud. She's a fraud. She's just making stuff up. She's got like a speech that she reads. It's like, no. I'm like a doctor that just prescribed Claritin to you for allergies, and I prescribed Claritin to you for, inflammation or, whatever.
I think the other thing is, the human condition is actually surprisingly common. We're all messed up in very predictable ways.
Right. It's not like I'm an alien and you're a human being. It's like there are common themes. Another thing is they'll use volunteer work helping animals as another way to pull people's vibration up, because you become an energetic match for good things if you just volunteer for an hour or two here and there. That advice is strategic. So every single thing they suggest in a reading is always some sort of strategy based on what's going on in your life at that point in time. But I would expect to get criticism for that, and I wouldn't blame him for that, because I was trying to hold back, and then I got in trouble for holding back. Law of attraction. People will get speeches about law of attraction, self-love, but it always applies to what's going on in their life at the time. It's not out of left field. It's the other side talking to them.
So when you were talking there about the lady with the deceased daughter, you got quite emotional. And I've seen you get emotional about these things sometimes. I mean, how do you manage that? Because generally, if you're a doctor, you have a very standoffish kind of professional demeanor that separates you, but you don't seem to have that or are able to have that.
That's what my gift is for. I get a lot of really hardcore cases. Suicides, accidental deaths where they just, accidentally shot themselves. They didn't mean to. I channel suicides where they don't regret it. They're like, sorry, I had health problems. I knew I was going down the tubes. I just saved myself a bunch of pain. I don't regret it. And so I have gotten used to channeling some really hardcore stuff. So you would expect me to get that thicker skin. I am clairsentient. So I pick up on the emotion of people's angels. So a lot of times, not a lot of times, sometimes I'll start crying in a reading because the person's angels are crying for them out of empathy. So I'll pick up on that. And then sometimes I'll start just crying. It'll be my own emotion. But when it's their emotion, I always tell the person I'm reading for, okay, when I focus my mind on you and your acting career, I want to burst into tears. Let's talk about this. What's going on? So that emotion behind that thought, there's something there. There's fear there. The person gave up. Or they have the ability to make a very profound difference in this world.
So what's your favorite kind of readings?
I really like life purpose. Because it's their truth. So it's do this. I see you being successful. Don't worry, they're going to help you. It's their truth. It's their heart. It's their heart-focused work. And when you align with your life purpose and you align with truth, you start attracting a bunch of good things to yourself. It's just kind of getting somebody on the right track in life so that they can become a magnet for good things. Soulmates can be tough, man. That's what really bothers me, where it's I'm actually getting that they're one of your soulmates, but you're a victim of their free will. Yeah, and you can't control people. So the love arena just gets so sticky. I mean, I've done a reading for someone before where it's she and her soulmate weren't really connecting, but then I saw them coming around later and them connecting later. So my logical mind was oh man, that sucks. And then I was whoa, wait a minute. He turns it around. I'm he comes around later and you guys get back together. And the cool part was that she was intuitive herself, so I only confirmed what she already knew. But we were both pretty excited about that. Yeah. So I would have to say life purpose is my favorite. And my specialty. I can do mediumship. It's just Yeah, it makes you cry.
I get the feeling mediumship takes a lot out of you. And I guess that's something, maybe you could just walk through the process of a reading. What's your day like? If you got a reading booked for 11 o'clock, how does that all match? How does that work?
I never go in unprepared, and one of the reasons is because I like to channel stuff without knowing anything. So if you get on the phone with me and you're just like, I want to pursue acting, am I going to be a famous actress? And I'm like, I don't know, because it's like the person's like really wanting it could really like tilt my intuition. So I like having an answer before I get on the phone, where it's like, okay, if I do a life purpose read before I get on the phone with you, acting better have come up. Mm-hmm. And if it didn't, then we're gonna have to talk about it. Because sometimes that might be a hobby, not your life purpose. But I do a pre-tune where I tune into your spirit guides 15 minutes before I get on the phone. So by the time I get on the phone, like I might even get vague answers, because a lot of times your spirit guides will be speaking directly to you and they'll cut me out of the equation. So I'll just read you what I wrote and you'll be like, oh, okay, thanks, that answers my question. And I was like, what was the question? Like they leave me out because I just don't need to know. But that's a nice clean answer because your spirit guides are telling you what you most need to know. Yeah. Another thing that I wanted to bring up is life purpose is really important for shining authentic light. Mm-hmm. And I'm a perfect example of that. Because my soulmate would not have been attracted to marketing executive Christine, but he will be attracted to crazy, freaky medium Christine.
Yeah, I think if you're hiding from yourself.
Yeah, you're not shining authentic light, so you're making your spirit guide's job harder. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much for sitting down with me.
Well, thank you. This has been fantastic, and thank you for being such a fantastic spirit guide.
Thank you.
You rock. And I hope you enjoy your time here in Los Angeles with me and the wildfires and crazy traffic and yeah. Anyway, I hope your friends and family aren't too worried about you.
No. How was that?
That was fantastic.
Did you enjoy that?
And in the meantime, take care and be well.
Oh, I see.
Thank you.
You had to put that